What is up, everybody? I am Ant, and you do not need to fix your sets. This is not the Attitude Years. This is our WWE Raw recap. I was going to say Raw's War. It's not Raw's War.
It's
It's Monday
actually
Night
not the
Raw.
Attitude Era. Yeah, don't
Not.
adjust your vision because they're probably wondering what's Tyler doing here and where's Carlos. We talked about where the Undertaker has gone. What has happened to
Yeah,
Carlos?
man. The conspiracy. Is this a conspiracy? I think the Undertaker might be in charge of this too, man.
I think he is. I think the Undertaker is definitely in charge of this show. He's taken over, and
He
things
is.
are not what they appear or seem,
Listen,
man.
after that Hell in a Cell tag team match, don't turn your back on Taker. But yes, we are here to cover Monday Night Raw, and it is from last week, September 26, 2022. They were live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I could be wrong, but isn't that where Chris Benoit is from? Edmonton,
I think so. I think he,
Edmonton,
if
Alberta.
I believe so. He was from up that way.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. There's no one holding me back.
Oh yeah, his theme song.
Sorry, now everyone can go
No,
cry and
I think
scream.
it's important that you sing the theme songs. It just
It,
adds.
it adds
It's
to it.
incredible.
It gives them much more legacy. Well, we start out the night with the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair coming down to the ring, and she's got Asuka and Alexa Bliss with her. And Bianca says, "I learned from my mistakes. You should have faced Alexa alone, but no, Io and Dakota Kai had to get involved. Bayley, if you want my title at Extreme Rules, good luck bringing your girls because mine will make sure it will be you versus me." Then Bayley comes out with Io Sky and Dakota Kai, who are the women's tag team champions. And Bayley says, "This is bigger than you versus me. You were groomed and I was handpicked. I groomed or no, she said, you were groomed and handpicked. However, I groomed myself." Bayley says, "I said I was going to take over WWE, and that's what I'm doing. You were chosen, and I'm taking over." Then Bianca says, "Girl, nothing has been handed to me. What have you been doing? Rehabbing?" She goes, "I'm sorry you got injured." And then Bayley goes, "I did get hurt. I wasn't able to walk or run 10 months ago. However, I pinned you, and I did that, something that no one else could do in over 300 days. It's true. No one's beaten
Three
Bianca
hundred
Belair.
days.
Over
That's amazing.
300
What a
days. Yep.
stat. I didn't know that. Seriously.
Yep. And then Billy says, "You need to fall in line with everyone else." Bianca says, "When I main evented WrestleMania, you were here, and I hit you with a KOD on top of a ladder at Hell in a Cell." Then Bailey says, "The past is the past. You gave me a great idea, though. At Extreme Rules, I feel like winning the title in a ladder match." So the challenge is made. Bailey versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title in a ladder match. The first time two
Wow.
women will go one on one in a ladder match ever in WWE history, aside from OVW where Beth Phoenix did that. But we're talking about
Yeah,
mainstream
main
WWE.
roster. That's unreal. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
both of them's going to be in a ladder match. I can't wait for that this Saturday.
Yeah, and I liked how they sort of made sense for the match. There's a reason. It's not just a regular ladder match
Yeah,
because
they're
Bailey
just not
wants
throwing it
it.
together for the sake
Yeah,
of just having a gimmick match, a ladder match, which
mhm.
is to
There's
me a
history
gimmick match.
behind it. Bianca Belair knocks out Bailey with the KOD on the ladder. So, what did you think about the promo between the two? Bailey is basically saying like, did it all myself. You were sort of handpicked. What do you think? Do you agree with her? And what do you think about the rivalry so far?
I think there is a lot to side with Bayley for because Bianca Belair, to her credit, has been that star that was elevated since the feud with Becky Lynch. And
Yeah.
because of the injury to Becky at SummerSlam, who I happen to be there, just a little, information there. I'm bragging. I can't help it.
Yeah, dude, that's a total fucking brag. 'Cause you got to see my girl Becky Lynch. You
I
got to
know
see
it was in Nashville, the Music City,
Dude,
Nissan
I'm
Stadium.
fucking no. You know what? I'm mad because
Yeah,
I
well,
just forgot that you got
I
to
got
see
him mad.
Bailey
See, leave it
and
to
Becky.
me. I bring the heat, man. I'm being the heel here. But no,
You
going
know.
back to your point, yeah, I really like Damage Control. I like Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bailey, this lead faction. Who knows how many more members they will have by the end of this thing? It keeps growing. That's what I love about long term storytelling, the whole process here. And I'll tell you, Bianca Belair, she has been on fire. She's been one of my favorites. It's really hard to put it into words just how much work she has put in. Alexa Bliss, Asuka has
Hmm.
been some nice additions. So I was fine with it because she had to do something on the ladder to Bayley for this to become personal. To me, that's how you invest in it. That's why the Riddle Rollins storyline has been so compelling. The whole feud and
Hmm.
rivalry there, and I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. There's been some news about that
Yeah,
also
yeah.
concerning that match,
Hmm.
and a little hint: he's been with the UFC.
Yes, sir. I know. I made a little thing about that yesterday when I found out. But yeah, I mean, we also have Survivor Series coming up, and we know that Triple H did mention that he plans on doing a War Games match. It wouldn't make sense not to do Damage Control being in there. So normally, if I'm correct, War Games is usually 4-on-4. So we
I
would
think
need,
so.
as you said earlier, there might be a new member if they're going to do that. You would need a fourth woman, or maybe just they're just going to have someone. But yeah, I do like Damage Control. I'm excited. I like all three of them. And yeah, they're bringing the heat. They're taking
I
control.
do too. They're doing some great things, and Bailey, I think, had been wanting this faction. Maybe Triple H himself, obviously, and I love getting the little NXT flavor with
Mhm.
people who were established. Let's be honest, in NXT that are
Yep.
the main roster stars. So I think this is a winning formula.
Yep. I kind of wish, though, to be honest with you, and maybe they will do this. They should make it like a group of like former NXT people who like you said, were successful and sort of like that's why they're taking control because they, it wouldn't make sense for them not to be like they're coming up like Bailey could be the leader because although Bailey has been on top for a while, she hasn't been champion for much of it.
Yeah, it's
She's
been a
sort
long
of
time.
yeah, so she would make sense out of the four horsewomen. Bailey's kind of the one that's kind of been, pushed aside. So it would make sense for her to be like, no, time for me to take control. Dakota Kai obviously was in the women's title picture, was a former NXT Women's Tag Champion. Io Sky, former NXT Women's Champion, former NXT Women's Tag Champion.
Both are
So, I mean,
talented.
yep, amazing workers. And then you could add another person. Candice LeRae just joined. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
she,
maybe Candice
and
LeRae
I'm
could go
jumping
back to
ahead,
being villain. No, I
but it's
think it's
okay.
awesome. It's
Yep.
your show. Who
Yep.
cares? Yeah, that's the thing. I
Dropping.
mean,
Well, Carlos actually surprised me with it before it happened, and I was so mad. I was like, "No spoilers." Like, yeah, we're gonna see it anyways. I was like, "No, don't tell me."
Carlos, you've got to be a better teammate, my friend. We love Carlos. Seriously, I'm just
Yeah,
giving him a hard time.
yeah. No
But
spoilers,
yeah, that's
please.
the thing. You got to be careful. There's spoilers.
Yeah.
Leave it to Paul Heyman. You know what's he say? The old saying about the spoilers. Anyways, though, yeah, we could see a lot of new members and Bianca Belair. I'm kind of ready for the whole Alexa Bliss Asuka experiment to kind of end, though. I don't
Yeah.
think it has the longevity that a Damage Control is
No.
going to have. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. I like your idea for Survivor Series. Having these NXT, alums or even new call-ups against,
Mhm.
former alumni that have been established,
Yeah.
like we just referenced, would make for some great television and great premium live events, equivalent to the pay-per-views on
Yeah.
Peacock now.
And I mean, also too, something to think about too and consider is that now that NXT UK is done, you could grab a group of girls from that brand. I know that they're, obviously combining them with the NXT group, but Kaylee Ray, Alba Fire, whatever, but anyways,
Oh, she
let's
would fit because they're featuring her now. Like you said,
mm-hmm,
that brand is over. So you've had Tyler Bate, you just had Worlds Collide. You're going to have Halloween
mm-hmm,
Havoc, where
mm-hmm.
Dragonoff showed up from
Yeah,
that
that's
brand.
gonna be
So
good.
yeah, you've got a lot of moving parts that I think people and fans are more energized now. And to your point, and I think it's all just pretty fun to think about the what ifs of how
Mhm.
Triple H can go about it. And I think he's doing amazing things. You got to give him time. It's not going to be overnight, but we're slowly starting to see, maybe even quickly, his touches. Think about Dexter Lumis, that whole storyline, and maybe Bray Wyatt, maybe it's somebody else, maybe it's Baron Corbin with this White Rabbit teases. I mean, a
Mm,
lot of
a
things are
lot of
just,
stuff, man.
yeah, absolutely.
And I'm excited because we got some stuff brewing. So let's cover the match. Before the match starts, Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn arrive backstage in a black Hummer, and just props to see them. Really
Yeah,
not
it's just
much
great
there.
seeing both those guys. I mean, part of the bloodline.
The line. So let's go over this match. Bianca nails a backbreaker to Io Sky. Bianca nails a delayed suplex and a springboard moonsault and gets 2 count on both moves. Io nails a top rope arm drag. Bianca dives onto Bayley and Dakota Kai outside. And then Bianca lands a KOD to Io and gets the 3 count. So, I mean, Bianca just looking dominant here.
Just makes her look strong. I mean, Io Sky's going to be somebody who's going to fly through the air, be quicker, but Bianca's going to do all the athletic stuff, be powerful, be the EST of WWE for a reason. And you got to keep her looking powerful. I mean, I think she's in that spot. She's the champion, and you want her to beat the Damage Control members because her and Bayley are going to have that big ladder match you alluded to for Extreme Rules. So it all makes sense. So I'm fine with it. I'm like you. I thought it was a solid match.
The champ's been looking strong, and we'll cover SmackDown pretty soon, but she looks strong here tonight on Raw. Moving on, we see Rey Mysterio backstage, and he basically says there's nothing like holding a newborn baby, in your arms, and you always want what's best for your child, especially, as a baby.
Right.
He says, I will never fight my son. He says, I don't know what happened to the kid that I raised. He goes, but I know that kid Dominic right now, that's not my son. So I really like that that storyline. It's not like a stupid, like, oh, my son. He's making it more intricate. Like, he's talking about the fact that, like, you do want what's best for your kid. You never want to fight your kid.
It doesn't feel silly what you're discussing, because you got some stories, these sagas, you could say another relative word to it, that seem cartoonish. This feels definitely more realistic because this is a real life father and son, and you've got Dominic joining this Judgment Day. Speaking of NXT groups, that was representation. That was indicative of something you could do at Survivor Series, which they've already done. So it made me automatically think of, for example, a Judgment Day. But I like the whole dialogue between Dominic and Rey Mysterio, and I know we'll get more of that on this recap, Ant, but you're bringing up some great points. I really can't disagree.
And I think, too, like, as I watch this, of course, we're doing the Attitude Years, which you obviously could check out in the archives.
Check it out.
But it's reminding me kind of Kane and Undertaker. I will never fight my brother. You hear those infamous words. I never, that ain't going to happen.
Rey Mysterio, he's trying his best not to want to fight him, but after Edge had to try to put Dominic in his place after that epic betrayal, eventually it's going to have to go to that place. Rey Mysterio is going to have to go to a darker place.
And I can see, Tyler, like, I can see this happening at Mania, because if you count back, if you think about it, Kane debuted in October, and it took him until Mania to fight Undertaker, and that was in March. That would be the same time zone as Dominic turning on Rey. And then he actually fights him. But I mean, I feel like you need to save that. If they keep the storyline where, they don't touch each other until Mania, then it would be perfect. That might not happen, but.
And it goes back to good psychology, if not great mind games. That's what wrestling's one of their strong suits, and build upon it. It's great to get the in-ring product, but it goes back to segments, all that, ties into it. It's the connection, and I think if they do, lead up to a WrestleMania match, to have Rey Mysterio Dominic, let's see what the kid could do against his old man. I think fans would definitely buy into it. They're already buying into it. Let's be fair.
And if they're gonna touch the way I book stuff, if I was a booker, if you have these marquee pay-per-views or WrestleManias, if there are gonna be matches on those cards, then those guys and girls on that card cannot touch each other unless it's like a very quick screw job type. It can't be like, if it's Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania, Sasha cannot pin Bianca before WrestleMania. That can't happen. And vice versa. Because they cannot touch until the show. That's what I would do.
Was it Triple H and Undertaker, or was that a Kane Undertaker thing? But because I was thinking there was more storylines similar.
There were more. You're right. I think
Undertaker couldn't touch.
Yep. But I think the reason why I brought up the Undertaker Kane thing was the time frame of it. Because if they are going to do Rey versus Dom, they have a long time to get till Mania. But what I'm saying is that, like, if they lead up to it and they have, like, where, okay, Dominic, maybe pushes Rey in front of a car, does something dastardly, and he touches him
You
in
just
that
never
way.
know.
And then that gets Ray off for a bit of TV, do something like that, have Dominic start to build himself up a bit in singles matches. And then come late February, Ray comes back. Now we're fighting at Mania. Let's do it. That's what I would do if I
Where
was.
it's a little closer.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll
because
have him
February.
get
No,
beat up,
I like that.
destroy him. He's going to be gone for a bit. Build up Dominic to not be the top guy, but have him get a couple of wins. And then out of the blue, booyaka, booyaka. Like if it was me, I would eliminate Rey Mysterio now and be like, yo, you're not coming back Ray till February. Let's have these people forget about you. And then when you come, it's gonna be like, and then it's gonna be, yo, I'm coming. And Dominic does some dastardly shit up until that point, and then Ray's like, nope, coming to handle it now.
My problem though is I don't like Dominic really with Judgment Day. That's going to be unpopular. I like him and Ray against each other.
Yeah.
I feel you, but that's where I would disagree.
Well, maybe they could break up. Maybe he could do his own thing. Like maybe he could say, I just, but they're not going to.
They're not going to,
Yeah.
and I get I have to be patient with the
Yeah.
whole ordeal with him and Rhea Ripley. That as entertaining as that's been, to me, Dominic is just more that baby face. He's that good guy, and I know you to be a great wrestler, you've got to be able to do the other role, be the villain. But he's just, I think, because he's so young, and I know he's gaining experience. He's been in there with his dad, Rey Mysterio, with Edge, and now with Finn Balor and all these others. He's gaining wisdom. I don't doubt that, but it just feels to me I'm going to have to give it more time because that's been my one critique, just as a fan. Not that I would know how to book this stuff, but if I'm going to be transparent, it's got to connect more.
Well, I wonder. You know what I wonder? It would be smart if they did this, and I'm talking from someone who, um, like I'm trying to like make it like a real thing. Let's say they're not going to do this, but I think this would be cool if they're. And then we got to go really quick. We'll come right back. Dominic is like, all right, I'm gonna work with these guys. I'm going through it. I'm sad. I'm a moody kid, whatever. And then over time, he's just like, you know what? I used you as a jumping point. No offense. You don't need me. I don't really need you. Let me do my own thing. He moves on and just is a bratty Austin Theory type, like, oh, I'm this, different character. And then Ray comes. I mean, because the thing is, nobody really likes Dominic. So you have to embrace it. You have to embrace the fact that people don't want to see him smiling. And, maybe that's what he needs to do. Maybe he needs to be like
Ray
a Kurt Angle
could set
heel.
him straight, kind of like Kevin Owens has been doing to Austin Theory.
Yep.
Because you brought that up.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back with more from Raw. Stay. Welcome back. Yes, we are Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Ant, joined by my friend and co-host Tyler. It's not Carlos.
No, it's not Carlos. What happened to Carlos? Where's
I don't
Carlos?
know. When we normally film this or record this, we don't normally do video. So those folks at home, unless they've seen a post I've shared, don't get to see Carlos's beautiful, gorgeous face.
I know, Carlos. See, that's why we're doing video. You're missing out. You need to do more video. The listeners and viewers are demanding it. See, the eyebrows of Ann are going up. There's some innuendos, I guess, is how you said. Oh, my goodness. Los Lothario vibes here.
Yeah, right. Okay, so Lowe's hurry up and run. So we see the Miz backstage with security, and he calls them the Miz Force, which I found funny. And Miz says,
funny.
Make sure he who shall not be named is not here in the arena. Obviously, he's talking about Dexter Lumis. I'm still wondering what happened, what transpired between those two. We just know that Dexter has a want and need to pet Mrs. Face.
He does. Dexter Lumis has got his agenda, and it's definitely target and make the Miz's life a living hell. And you know what? Why does he go after Maurice? I mean, that would be my choice. But the Miz is so talented and everything. I don't want to do too much.
Maybe he wants to get rid of the Miz
stuff.
for Maryse.
It could be. And Andy Hartwell, he could have both of them. I think it's wonderful. And Dex, I love this because, hey, we both like horror movies. It's kind of got some wide vibes to it and everything. Not to go that far, but Dexter Lumis is very multifaceted in what he could do. So I'm good with this. We just gave Triple H a lot of props, and rightfully so. He's given us some
Yeah.
must see, very compelling
And
TV.
I like how we still don't have answers yet. That keeps you intrigued. If you give everything away the second week, it's like, okay, we know. That's why this whole White Rabbit thing is interesting. Um, all that good stuff.
Yeah, like any good movie or TV show, that you want cliffhangers, but don't overdo them.
Hmm.
That's why I think with Triple H and all the creative team, all the producers, they are putting their vision in there, and they're giving these wrestlers some kind of freedom, but they still not too much where it's ruining, it's diluting the product. So I'm very happy to see like Loomis get an opportunity. A lot of these people who were released and now he's re-signed them back. We don't have to go over that because people get bored. We've heard the stories. We know by now if you follow it. But I'm like you. Intrigue's a great word. It's just it
Hmm.
keeps you guessing, and you want more, and you can't wait to watch the next week.
It's very intriguing, sir. Speaking, well, I got here on this. Speaking of intriguing, Seth frickin' Rollins comes out, and I hate calling him Seth frickin' Rollins. I just want to refer to him as Seth
I
Rollins. Is
don't
that
like
cool?
the freaking part. He's good enough just to be Seth Rollins.
In your face,
Yeah, in your face,
in your house.
in your
Um,
house. Hey, that's a throwback.
in your house, in your face. So that was hot. Seth Rollins comes out and he grabs the microphone and he says, "I'm not U.S. champion because of Matt Riddle. Matt has cost me for the last time. In 2 weeks, we'll finish this at Extreme Rules inside the fight pit. Nobody thinks I stand a chance. It doesn't matter what type of match it is. I've won them all. As good as Riddle may be, he's got nothing on me. I have an Einstein acumen about the fight pit. This is after the match. People will all call me king of the fight pit. And he says, I'm about to give Father of the Year, Rey Mysterio, the beating he's too scared to give to his own son. So some choice words from Seth Rollins, and he's reigniting this rivalry that he had with Ray back in 2020.
Yeah,
Um,
he is. I mean, Seth Rollins, he knows how to get that message across as the villain, and he knows what words will get under the skin of opponents, even a legend like Rey Mysterio.
and King of the Fight Pit, those are some strong words from Matt Riddle. I mean, we'll find out in 2 weeks if those words can keep up. But Seth is saying, if it's not for Riddle, I would have been champion, and this is it. And when Seth makes a promise, he tends to kind of try to keep it. So let's
Oh,
go
he
over the
definitely
match.
keeps it.
Ray sends Seth face first into the steps, which caused Seth to bleed right away, which is interesting because I was like, what happened? He's bleeding. Seth nails a tilt the wall backbreaker to Ray, which is very cool. Seth nails a gut breaker. Dominic walks out with a steel chair, and Dominic pats Seth Rollins back on the way out. He tries to go for three amigos. He only nails two, and then Ray nails a DDT. Ray then hits a Hurricane Rana into the corner. Ray then nails a seated senton springboard crossbody, but gets a 2 count. Seth nails a buckle bomb and then a Falcon Arrow, which then gets a two again. A lot of back and forth action here. Ray
Oh,
nails
so
a,
much.
so much. Ray hits a flying splash, gets a two. He misses a 619. And then the two of them end up outside, and Dominic drops a chair to Rey Mysterio and basically gets on his knees again, like he did last week, and dares Ray to hit him in the face
He
with the
just wants
chair.
Rey Mysterio to hit him. That's all it is. And I think us fans are wanting to give him a piece of his mind through a steel chair. Dominic, this is part of being the man edge, was trying to teach you that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But Rhea Ripley, of course, let her leg scissor you. She's your poppy. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of Rhea Ripley, she comes out and she tosses Rey Mysterio into the ring post. Seth lands a stomp, and then he applies. Interesting. Instead of going for a pin, he actually applies a Peruvian necktie, and Rey Mysterio is passed out. It's like a sort of almost like a headlock submission.
I
It was
got you.
interesting.
I think I've seen it, but the hero called the Peruvian necktie. What's
Interesting.
next? The Spanish fly submission hold with
I
we butchered the
guess.
Spanish fly. I'm trying to think of some weird names, but with all due respect, obviously that's the title. I've just that was a first for me. I've heard of
The
some different names.
Peruvian
Yeah,
necktie. So Rollins sending a message to Riddle saying, you know what, I can beat you. I can make you pass out. I don't even need to put you in a stomp. I could put a submission hold and you'll be done. Obviously, Rey Mysterio is not Matt Riddle, and Rey Mysterio did get pushed into the post, so there was a distraction there. We really went over Rey Mysterio and Dominic a bit earlier. What do you think about Rollins? I mean, lately he's been having on Raw like every match he's had on Raw lately has just been a barn stopper. Um, do you think Riddle and Rollins it's going to main event? I feel like they're going to have that main event spot at Extreme Rules. There's no that WWE Undisputed
Yeah,
title is
Roman
on the
Reigns
line.
won't be there.
Yeah.
I think they should. They deserve it. You've got a UFC legend. I'll let you name him. But these guys, I told you, it's off air. One of the better and greater rivalries that WWE is doing currently is
Mm-hmm.
between Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a visionary. He is an architect. Excuse me. He's one of the greatest workers ever, and Riddle can work. He brings that MMA style from the
Yeah.
UFC. So I like how they made it personal from weeks ago during that promo, and they have these brawls. I mean, it's just controlled chaos where it's not just thrown all over the place. These guys have a reason to be mad at each other. It's good to see officials, referees out there,
Yeah.
so you get a sense of some realism. That's
Yeah.
missing, and thank
Talking
God
about
that's
each
back.
other's wives,
Yeah,
I
talking
mean,
about each other's wives. I mean, it doesn't get,
kids.
yeah, kids, everything. I mean, they put it all out on the table. With
Yep.
all due respect to Roman Reigns, Logan Paul on the table, but it's been good stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. So I think they deserve the main event headline Extreme Rules in this
Yeah.
five pit match. And
It's been a rivalry for a while now, and we missed their match at SummerSlam. We did get them at Clash at the Castle. We need to finish this. Rollins always has his trilogies, since last year he's been
oh, he does with Cody
trilogy.
Rhodes. Yeah.
Isn't it weird how he started out with Edge with the trilogy, then
hmm
what did he do for day one? Didn't he have like I don't know what he did. But
I don't know
then
what he did
I
because
forgot what he did at day one, but I know he fought Roman at Rumble, and
yeah,
then
Rumble.
he went on to take on who was it? Cody Rhodes at Mania, and they had their trilogy. Then after
hmm
Rhodes, it was Riddle, right?
I think it was Riddle. I think it pretty much went to it. At least that's the big storyline that he went into. I
Yeah,
can't
and I'm
remember if
cool.
anybody's in between.
I'm cool with the storyline where it's like three times. Some people don't like to see them fight all the time, but if they're gonna keep bringing it, keep on bringing it. It's like the TLC matches with the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys. Keep bringing it. Um, let's move
Yeah,
on
here's the
though.
thing.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, here's the point I was just going to make real
Yeah,
quickly. Didn't mean to cut you off
yeah, no,
there.
go right ahead.
It's trilogies are good when, like you said, when it's intensified.
Hmm.
You've got these two wrestlers that have these personalities that they can really wrestle. They can bring a entertainment that keeps you engaged, and I think people can enjoy those kind of matches where it's multiple and it's in big pay-per-views, and you get these segments on Raws. It just gives you an essence of, hey, this is real. I can suspend my disbelief. I can actually believe these guys are mad because there has been heat there. I mean, they talked about it in interviews. I think that makes some of the best matches and the best segments ever, and I think we're seeing that come out on TV.
Well, I think a lot of fans have this idea of that we're not stupid, and we know what's going on behind the scenes. Some fans don't know, and that's cool. Like I don't like to know, but if you don't talk about a rivalry, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because we're gonna find out. So face it head on. So yes, you're
I'm
right.
with you.
So we see Matt Riddle backstage and he's talking to Bobby Lashley, and Lashley pretty much wishes him good luck and just basically says, "Don't let Seth Rollins get out of it this time, and also don't get involved in my matches." And Riddle's like, "Okay, cool." Um, we then move on and we see Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano walking backstage. They have a tag match coming up, and we see the Mrs. Security Force. They're like passed out backstage, so something happened to them.
Yeah, something vicious happened and attacked him. I wonder who that is. Did we get the answer? We found out, didn't we?
Yes, we did. But we have our next match first. We have Alpha Academy taking on Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano. And of course, Alpha Academy come out with flags representing the United States. They're in Canada. So the heel,
Brilliant move, yeah, because you want to
yes.
represent Americana and go up to Canada and really throw it in their faces. I bet there was a shush, or how does he say it?
Well, he
My
just
English.
came out with the flag. Surprisingly, they didn't talk before, which I'm surprised. Normally they do.
Normally they have a promo.
That's my promo. That's how I'm tired. So,
I think it's a great promo. Tired always makes for just good podcasts. It
oh,
does.
they probably, yeah, it probably would. So here are some notes from this match. Kevin Owens nails a senton and a springboard moonsault to Chad Gable and gets a 2 count. Otis hits Johnny Gargano with a huge slam in the ring. Um, Kevin Owens goes for a swanton, but Chad Gable gets his knees up. Johnny Gargano sends Gable into the post, and then Kale lands a swanton and gets a 2. Chad Gable nails a German Northern Light suplex into a slam to Johnny Gargano. Otis accidentally runs into the ring post, and then Kevin Owens super kicks Otis onto a table, and then a KO nails an elbow drop off the guard railing to Otis through the announce table. However, Austin Theory runs down and distracts Johnny Gargano, but Gargano is able to nail the one final beat to Chad Gable and get the 3 count victory. So Gargano and Kevin Owens outsmarting Austin Theory and Alpha Academy. What do you think of this pairing of Gargano and Kevin Owens? They've been pairing up for a bit now since they were on the bump together. What do you think?
I like it. I've enjoyed it. You can tell they've got chemistry together. It's great seeing Johnny Gargano come up on the main roster, get called up, pardon me. And I love that DDT, the final beat. You just said it. It just looks great. Everything he does is so crisp, would be a good word. I mean, just meaning smooth, very fluent is Gargano. And Kevin Owens, just every time this guy steps it up, he's on another level. I love what he's doing with Theory. I like the Alpha Academy. This helps them. Now, I mean, they're very talented, Otis, and especially Gable, Chad Gable, former Olympian. I mean, I love watching him work and wrestle in the ring. I just, something about when these guys are paired together or in a feud, even if it's a one match, one off, but I'm glad to see it continue because it makes sense. It just makes me want to watch. I get
Yeah,
attracted to it. It's good stuff.
I like seeing them as a team. Very good stuff, like you said. Um, we then see Finn Balor backstage talking to AJ Styles, and he basically says to AJ, "If we teamed, we would make history. And Judgment Day can watch your back." And AJ Styles says, "I pretty much have my own back." So we've been teasing this rivalry last week. They're talking backstage. We'll get some more between them later on. That's just a little basic thing happening backstage. We then go again backstage to Austin Theory, and he tells the Alpha Academy that they have to get even with their opponents. And then Braun Strowman calls Austin Theory's phone, and he challenges Chad Gable to a match next week on Raw. And then we also find out next week will be Otis taking on Johnny Gargano, and they claim that will be the end of Gargano's short and sad career. So Alpha Academy busy next week.
Yeah, Alpha Academy is very busy, and I like Braun Strowman back. I think him being away's helped him, and he man
Mm,
looks in great shape. He was always a big dude, but seeing the pictures, that dude's shredded, and he's just got
hmm
that voice, that demeanor, and they're doing right by him, and I'm glad to see him get another opportunity.
See, I think I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. I feel like he's been very lackluster with his return. I feel like with all these other people who have returned, you're not really talking about Braun. I mean, not you, but I mean, like, we're talking about Karrion Cross. We're talking about who else is returning? That's just been Johnny Gargano,
Yeah,
Dexter
Gargano.
Lumis, all these people who, are coming back. They're getting talked about more than Braun Strowman. I wonder, do you have an idea maybe why that is? Do you think, because I mean, you like the way he's being booked, but do you think that maybe I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a valid point you made there. The reasoning, Braun Strowman's that big guy. I think he's limited to what he's able to do. He's not going to be the worker, the wrestler those guys are. Even some of the bigger guys are going to be better wrestlers. That's not a knock on him. His whole arsenal is to be more power, strength, and do the running move around the ring to come out, maybe attack somebody, make an impact, make a big statement. And that's how I'm viewing it. But I get he's not he's under the radar as far as those names. I shouldn't say under the radar. He's just not getting mentioned
Yeah.
enough. That would be the
Yeah.
proper term. He's definitely on
But
the
I'm
radar.
surprised though, don't you think? I mean, he's a former number one contender for the title. He's the the monster among men. I would think with him coming back, because he's always been there's really hasn't been any change with him. He's always been the guy that chases after the people. And I'm just surprised that the fans haven't been more like, oh my God, Braun Strowman's back. I feel like they kind of brought him back, and he's not this big attraction that I think he should be, which I'm confused as to what the disconnect is.
Well, that's the thing. There is a
Yeah.
disconnect that is
Yeah.
hurting him. They've got to build him up, and I think
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're attempting, and
Yeah.
I think they were excited. And I think the problem is, and I have to speak to it and be honest. I have to ride on stories and rumors, and unfortunately, as neat as that can be, it will ruin the surprise atmosphere. And I think that kind of hurts some of these people because they kind of know that's why sources have to leak it out. That's why WWE might as well do it. Used to, I mean, they're still trying now, especially with this Bray Wyatt deal. Even though there's been the teases,
Mm.
who knows? It may not even be Wyatt. We're
Mm.
just hoping. But I think that's a lot that factors in. I'll even take a shot at myself, not websites. I'll just say, as a person that has to do it, there's a part of me, if I'm being transparent, I think that kind of it really does hurt the product a little bit. I mean, I'm supportive of what I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
just I think that's it. I mean, and it's not the only reason. I mean, there is a disconnect. Braun
Yeah.
Strowman, I mean, has to show us more. I think we're getting that in little shades here and there.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's got to be able to get to that level as some of these
Yeah.
other guys. But I think it's due to the work rate and just the different styles too. I think because he can only be presented in such a way.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. I agree. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm not really a big guy fan. I'm more of the like, I mean, he's a very fast dude, don't get me
Oh,
wrong,
he's
but
very quick for a
I
guy
do,
6'8".
yeah, I do feel there's a disconnect. I don't know why, but let's move on.
No, that's fair. I respect your opinion.
Yeah, speaking of another tall guy that doesn't do it for me, Omos comes out with MVP, and he basically beats two jobbers again. He after the match he attacks them both, and he lays them on the announce table and stands over them. For me, you're not going to look strong or dominant by being two unknown people. That will never work for me. I know that they have to have people do that, but you're not going to. You already know you're going to annihilate these people. I don't care if you have 50 of them. If you're Omos and you have Little Johnny, whoever, you're gonna get annihilated.
I can't stand this whole thing. Even with MVP, as much as I like MVP, one of the best talkers and very talented wrestler, Omos needs to be back in developmental. I think not even on NXT TV.
Yeah.
I think the bloom's been off the rose. I think they tried to rush him in there because he had that look. He was this big giant, but unfortunately, he can't move. He can't work
You
good.
do
Even
anything.
no, and they're trying to get him over by doing the whole Andre the Giant thing. Well, it worked for Andre because Andre could still work. Omos is not Andre the Giant. I hate those comparisons, and I've even
Well,
heard
I
people.
think too. Also, again, Tyler, like you and I can understand this. Andre was different. Like I'm sure if Andre came out like now in 2022, he wouldn't be the eighth wonder of the world. He was the first one to really do it. So you're right. It's not really it's hard to compare to Andre because there is no comparison. Andre was the
Oh,
guy who
you
put
can't
Giants
compare.
on the map,
He
and
did,
you know,
and it's yeah, it's been their formula. I mean, I know McMahon, and it's smart because I get the picture of the guy, the description. He's huge. I mean, the cameras can make him look even bigger. He's 7'3", but the problem is he does nothing.
no.
It's not as much as connecting with the audience. It's that you can't connect to the story in the ring. That's also an aspect of
Yeah.
it. So
When
I
I
would
turn
agree
him
with you.
on, I'm like, it's like watching Herman Munster fight. He's slow. He's got like this like very like 50s robotic,
It's too slow.
monster. Yeah, it's not I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm sure,
Yeah, it's not a knock on him
with
personally.
improvement. But it's just like if you're gonna compare him to a giant, compare him to Braun Strowman. Right now, they're both two giants in the same company, and what are the two doing differently? At least Braun is making and doing something. He's running, he's doing this,
He's
doing that.
showing energy. He's showing it,
Yeah.
and he can work
Omos is
better
like,
than Omos.
whoa.
Yeah. Omos is, yeah, he's awkward. I think he's so big, he is a little bit awkward.
He's like the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, no energy, no purpose, just I want to eat you, and then that's it. It makes no
Yeah,
sense.
and the enhancement talent are not only getting him over, but he's got to thank them for making him look so dominant. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
I get it, but again, though, Tyler, you'd have to be an idiot if you see Omos taking on the two guys that he fought on Raw and really think he's gonna not stand a chance against them. Like put him up against if you're gonna put him up against jobbers, then put him up against bigger jobbers who look like okay, he's not gonna be that easy to beat.
That are going to challenge him, test him.
Yeah, they're putting him up against a blonde-haired Heath Slater looking dude, and then another dude, and I'm just so confused. I'm like, he's gonna annihilate these people.
So it makes sense for him to win, even against two guys, especially as big as he
Yeah.
is. We're not arguing that. The problem is Omos needs more training, or maybe he just needs to go away for a while and then come back. Maybe that'll help him. I'm not sure.
Or at least have him get beat up by he's just constantly beating up people, and then
he's
he
got
doesn't
to
do
learn to
anything.
sell. He has to learn
Yeah.
because it can't always be all offense all the time. That's
I
the
was
problem. Yeah, I mean
there.
he's doing this. Hear me roar! I can't even do the giant voice. You did it better.
Oh.
That was pathetic. But case in point, it's just even with MVP, they're trying to give him that mouthpiece, that guy, and it's not doing anything. Yeah,
Not doing it.
it's a shame.
MVP.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Miz is backstage, and he sees the Miz Force passed out, and he's upset, and he's mad. I thought you guys were, security guards. That you guys are great. However, Dexter Lumis is dressed up in an Oilers uniform, right? Is that what you would call it? Yeah,
Yeah, the Oilers, hockey team.
And Dexter nails the Miz with the hockey stick, and he puts the Miz in a silencer, and he starts to rub the Miz's head.
Oh, it's perfect. I mean, that's Loomis, man. He's great. You know why I like the name Loomis? Because it's like the Dr. Loomis in Halloween. It's very poetic.
In what?
Halloween.
Loomis. Oh, Dr. Loomis.
But
yes,
it's
right.
just spelled different. But
differently.
It reminds me of that. He's got a creepy character, but that was what was Loomis's role in that movie?
He was like a psychiatrist.
Yeah,
right?
A psychiatrist. That's it. Yeah.
But I think the problem is he's kind of also the thing with Dexter Lumis is also the name Dexter. I feel like he's trying to be a serial killer, like the character on the show Dexter.
Yeah, you could draw parallels to Dexter. Yep. He's stalking his victims like the Miz. They showed him in the house.
Quick question. This is really early on in the game, and as quick as you can give me, what do you think the deal is? Why is Lumis going after Miz? What do you think is happening here? Because we don't know. I mean, and that's the thing. Miz doesn't know either. It's why me? We don't know. Do you think there's more to it? Do you think he just wants to be with the Miz? Is there a goal behind Miz? What do you think is happening here? Because I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it's hard to really narrow it or pinpoint why Dexter Lumis is targeting the Miz, but I think that he's just going after the Miz. And also, you could do this. He's just tired of the Miz carrying on, running his mouth, and this may be the guy that's, obviously can stop him, evidently.
Yeah. I mean, they do say, I was watching a show yesterday, and they say, if you want to prove yourself, you take out someone so they know what you can do. So maybe he just wants to take out the Miz to show everybody else, hey, don't fuck with me, I'll join up like him. I mean,
that could be it. And Miz is the star, so why not target one of the big superstars?
I just hope there's more to it, though. I hope there's a whole story.
I believe there could be. I think they're just giving us little pieces that
and also
keep us entertained.
I don't know if they were trying to throw us off, but in the beginning weeks of it, it seemed like there was a second person that was helping him that was throwing the Miz off. So, I mean, we can't forget that, they could be adding more people to this whole thing because it's a little weird. But let's move on. We have Nikki A.S.H in the ring. Nikki almost a superhero, and I got spoiled by this. Thanks, Carlos. Candice LeRae comes out, and she surprises everybody, not me. And Candice nails a drop kick. And then Nikki traps Candice in the apron and starts to nail blows to Candice. Candice with blows to Nikki, and then she nails a super kick and a twisting neck breaker off the top rope. Candice LeRae gets the win. Candice is one of my favorites. When she was in NXT, she was great. She's fucking hardcore. She's married to Johnny Gargano. That's a plus. But what do you think about seeing Candice LeRae? I was happy to see her on the main roster.
I was very ecstatic for Candice LeRae. I'm so happy to see her get this chance, and to see, the match against Nikki was good. Uh, we're finally, I think, going to get the old Nikki Cross, which I hope, because boy, this hero gimmick is definitely. I'm
So
ready.
over, man. It makes
Yeah, me as well. But to your point, I was just so happy for Candice LeRae. She can do amazing things. You talked about her versatility, and to be up there with her husband. That's pretty cool on Raw, Johnny Gargano.
Yep. He made a little tweet that was like Quinn wasn't the only one training to get back in the ring, and she was there. So big surprise. Happy to see Candice. I mean, think of the matches: Candice versus Bianca, Candice versus Liv,
All the
Candice versus Becky versus Asuka, Io. I mean, holy shit.
There's a lot of
Flair,
matches she could have.
Bayley. Come on. Um, all right, so we see another interview at Judgment Day backstage. Nothing really important here, them just gloating as usual. We have our next match, AJ Styles taking on Sami Zayn with Solo Sikoa. AJ nails a torture rack bomb and gets a 2 count. Sami nails a Blue Thunder bomb and gets a 2 as well. And then he also nails a modified Orange Crush. Blah, blah, blah. He nails a
I get
2.
what you're saying.
It was cool to see Sami pull out some old moves in this match. Sami then sends AJ over the timekeeper's area, but AJ is able to break the count. Styles nails a Pele kick. Sami goes for a Haluva kick. However, AJ Styles rolls out of the way. AJ applies a calf crusher. However, Sami grabs the ropes. And then Solo Sokoa then gets involved and nails a Uranagi onto the apron to AJ Styles, allowing Sami to hit the Haluva kick, and he gets a 3 count. Sami proving, don't fuck with me. I'm a member of the Bloodline. Stop opening your mouth. They got my back. Let's quickly talk about the match. What do you think about Sami Zayn getting the working with the Bloodline? I mean, I know it's been a lot of people have enjoyed it. Solo is more behind Sami than it looks like Jay is.
Right.
What do you think?
I like Solo Sequoia with Sami Zayn. It's been very entertaining. Sami Zayn has helped make WWE TV watchable. I mean, him and the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and then the other cousin, Sequoia.
Yep.
I like and AJ Styles, phenomenal, one for a reason, one of the best, like Seth Rollins. It was a great match. I like this pairing, and I like seeing Sami Zayn get the win. It's not going to hurt AJ. So
Mhm.
I like seeing Zayn go over here, and I like the interference by Sequoia,
Mhm.
or Sequoia. How do you say it? Gosh,
Sequoia, like the
I'm going to
Sequoia
say
tree.
that 100
The
times. I was
Sequoia
laughing at
tree.
myself. I was like, gosh, can I get it out? Actually, did better
Sequoia.
the first time. Yeah, there
That's
you go.
hard to pronounce. Sequoia. Let's talk about what happens after the match. So afterwards, Judgment Day then come out, and Finn then asks AJ Styles to join again. AJ turns him down. So then Judgment Day attack. They end up putting a chair across AJ Styles' neck, and Finn's about to step on the chair, but he says no. We're friends, and that's not what friends do. So he's sending a message here. He's saying, right now I'm your friend. I could have stepped on this chair and broke your neck. I didn't. I'm still your friend. But, you know, if I have to keep asking, don't forget the position I just put you in. So he's sending a message there to AJ. Do you think AJ was going to join the Judgment Day?
I think it would be too obvious. I think it's good not to have everybody involved. I think there's other members and wrestlers I could see making more sense. AJ, even though him and Finn had the history, I think you can have too many members and
Mhm.
really dilute the brand within the brand, and that would be Judgment Day. So I kind of hope not. That's just me. I mean, I don't mind a heel AJ, but I've kind of liked this babyface run lately. Let's not end it just yet.
Yeah. I feel like with this whole babyface, he hasn't had a chance to really do anything with it. So I agree. Too many cooks in the kitchen isn't good for any group. So we'll see what happens.
I agree.
We are now at our main event. We have Matt Riddle taking on Damian Priest, and I saw bits and pieces of this. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll just tell you the end result. Matt Riddle gets the win after a roll up. It was a highly contested bout. There was a moment where Damian Priest, I think he choke slammed Riddle hard back first onto the guard railing.
I believe so.
So it's a hard fought victory for Riddle. After the match, Judgment Day attacks until Edge comes back. He returns. This is like the 10th time Edge has come back, and I
Yeah,
love Edge.
Edge. Oh, I do. I don't care. Let him return all he wants to.
Edge is my number one favorite. So I see Edge. He comes out and he clears house and he says the Radar Superstar will always come back. and he goes on and challenges Finn Balor to an I Quit match at Extreme Rules. And what I'm liking about this card for Extreme Rules so far is every match has a stipulation. Let's go over the card quick, and then we'll talk. Well, pause. Talk about the challenge by Edge to Finn
Sure.
Balor for the I Quit match.
Yeah, you want to talk about the match? Yeah, that's why I
Like,
paused.
what are your thoughts? Do you think that that's a proper? I guess I didn't mean to, I didn't throw it out there more for you. Do you think it's like this that stipulation I quit? Do you think it's a proper stipulation for this match? And do you think this will be the final Finn versus Edge Judgment Day over? Because I feel like Edge created
I think
Judgment
it's a
Day.
proper one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the I quit stipulation because not every match can be a ladder match. Not every match can be the fight pit. So you have to have something different, but yet it's a stipulation. And it does push you. Not everything's got to have chairs and tables to be hardcore. Hey, it can be hardcore if you can only utter two words, I quit. So I really like how they're going about this whole concept with Edge and Finn Balor. And we haven't seen him wrestle before. He said it on the microphone. So that alone, we're going to get a dream match.
yep. It's gonna be a bomb match. I'm excited for the I
It's going to be
Quit.
awesome.
That's gonna be awesome. Let's quickly go over the card for Extreme Rules. There's only a couple matches we know. The Fight Pit, Matt Riddle versus Seth frickin' Rollins. We can discuss it here because it's been on the news. Supposedly former UFC fighter and champion, right? Daniel, how do you say it? Cormier?
Yeah, you got
Daniel
it.
Cormier will be the special guest referee for that match. Don't mess with him.
No,
We also
don't get him mad.
don't get him mad. Also on the Raw side, we're gonna have the I Quit match between Finn Balor and Edge. That's going to be a hell of a match. We
Oh, I
also on
can't wait.
the can't wait for that one. Also on the Raw side, the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair defending against Bayley in a ladder match. That's going to be epic. Let's
Oh,
talk
it's
about
going to be amazing.
SmackDown side of things. On SmackDown, we have the special strap match between Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre. These two are finally going to meet up in the ring. We also have the I have to remember the actual name. I think it's like a brawling, it's like a O'Donnell something fight match between the Brawling Brutes and Imperium. Those six guys have been going at it for weeks. Oh, I think it's a Donnybrook. It's like a Donnybrook.
Oh, I'm all for. I'm down for that.
That's gonna be a hell of a match. And then the SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan will be defending against Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. Well, both women showing that they can go extreme. This is gonna be a great pay-per-view. There's been teases about a white rabbit. Can we talk about this, Tyler? I've mentioned this before. I'm gonna say it again. I don't know if you've seen this. If you take a look at the promo picture for Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins, you can see in the background there's fireflies. You can see a
Oh,
lantern.
you can. It's
You
very.
totally can see it. It's
It's in the
not used
picture.
in every picture, except for that one. But Ray Wyatt might show up. So it's gonna be live in Philadelphia, October 8th. I think it starts at 8 o'clock, the day after my birthday. So that would be a great birthday
Oh,
present.
that'll be a great birthday gift.
Mhm. So Tyler, let's go back to Raw really quick. What was your favorite moment of the night from Raw?
Favorite moment? I think the Riddle Rollins brawl. I think they had a when it went off the air. Even it didn't
Mhm.
even have to be in the show. Edge returning was big. Bianca Belair, Knoxville, Tennessee, UT,
Yeah.
University of Tennessee. So I'm partial anyways, but she is a great wrestler. Love her and Bayley, the whole damage control, and Alexa Bliss, Asuka. Love Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano against the
Mhm.
Alpha Academy. So that's been good stuff. Dexter Lumis and The Miz. There's been a lot of them.
A lot of good stuff happening, man.
Yeah, and on SmackDown as well.
For me, for Raw, I enjoyed Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio match wise and moment. I really liked. I also like seeing Candice LeRae come back, but obviously Edge coming back
Oh, LeRae's
challenging.
another one.
Yeah, Edge challenging Balor was probably the moment of the night for me. So Tyler, thank you for joining me. We have a little bit, so
Oh, you're welcome.
tell me quick where people can find you if they're not listening to you on the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. Where can people find you?
They can find me on the Rewind Wrestling Radio podcast on that network. They can find me on Back When with Danny and Tyler. And they can find me on Standing Strong with host Waylon Myers and the Uncensored Wrestling Podcast with yours truly and here. And Wrestle Buddy and Geek Buddy, those websites, respectively.
Geek buddy, very cool sites, very cool stuff. Um, any update? I don't mean to put you on the spot here. It's okay if you don't have anything. What's happening for you with Extreme Rules? Are you doing any kind of recap thing? What's going on with you for that?
I think it's possible me and some of the other writers will probably be doing some live coverage, and that means writing. So we'll be trying to keep everybody up to date, or we'll be keeping everybody
Mhm.
up to date on some of the information regarding the matches. So I look for that.
So then we'll talk. We'll do an episode before. We'll do it like an Attitude Years, and I'll let people know where to find that. But like, do you know where that will be happening yet, or will that be coming soon?
That will be happening on WrestleBuddy.com. Just put it in your search engine. Also, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all the social media sites.
And is
You'll
it
be able
gonna
to find it.
be? It's not to cut you off. It's gonna be like sort of like a like live play-by-play coverage, or is it gonna be kind of like
It's kind of play by play, but it's more or less like a recap, like how we do on
gotcha?
podcasts. But it's going to have play by play. You'll get some of the moves the best we can because all the action's going to be happening so fast,
Hmm.
and we try to put it into context, but not go too detailed because everything's happening so fast, even though it'll last a couple hours.
Hmm. Well, thank you for checking us out. Be sure to check out Tyler. We will be back. Enjoy this week's episode of Raw, and we will
See
see you
y'all.
soon. Thank you, Tyler. Bye,
Oh, you're
guys.
welcome.